Hello all, I'm Krista, or A Story Whispered. Before the magic begins, I would like to thank everyone who has deigned to listen to me whisper and speak softly to them over the past few months. This is a project entirely for me. It's gone off the rails in weird, self-serving ways, but also it has just been fun to have a whim and follow it without fear that it'll be ignored or broken by too much attention. Definitely not too much attention, definitely not ignored, but maybe the purpose is just to teach myself to think of myself as a maker and a doer rather than a consumer of the industry of others. That's not just ASMR, that's writing, that's in life. Sometimes it feels like other people are the ones that do things, and I can maybe do it too. And maybe you also feel overly burdened when you think about yourself as a creative person, so you freeze like a doe caught in the headlights. But the key is to believe that the car is yours to drive just as much as the doe is yours to run, and if you need it to slow or stop while you cross the street, it is yours, and it will. I believe in believing, in the power of the new year not to break us down with demands for being perfect, but to offer us a hidden path, dotted and lined with opportunities for something other than what we know as our lives today. It works not as a course in strict self-correction, but a bit of gentle, friendly amnesia for all the shame and sadness and grief and all the bleak, clanging soup cans we tied to our ankles, not just in 2020 to 2021, but all the years prior. No matter who we are, we carry that as a wake, all that flotsam and jetsam of junk and hurt and things that just didn't go right. It's there, but we need to forget about it. And sometimes a new year can help us do that. I believe in good coming from good intentions, followed by good thoughts, followed by good actions, whatever good means to you. That virtuous cycle giving us some momentum out of the abyssal, Stygian waters that choke us. Because in truth, this is a time of great unknowing, and this is a time of indefatigable hope. This is a time where just a few days ago, a vast apocalyptic fire rained down and raced towards my home, the homes of people I love, strangers who live and work nearby, who help me without ever knowing my name. Beloved people have slipped through our hands over the past year with no discernible reason for it, but it just seems the universe hungers for loss and chaos and heartbreak. And this unsettles and harms our quiet souls, so we invent calendars. We invent ends of years, little divots in the skin of all once and will be. It seems at times a childish game we play to trick ourselves. Perhaps we would be better off to just face the suffering and disorder and wrongness without blinders. Perhaps we could terrify ourselves into transformational action. I've mentioned this before. Sometimes it seems like the power should be in the negative to drive us forward, but I've never found that to be true. And I promise you, as I promise myself, and the faithful light within, having the power to think ourselves out of our circumstances is the very best tool available to us adults. With a gentle touch of humor, of acceptance, of solitude, we can consider our pain and trauma and move towards a version that has not overcome grief and loss and fury and all we can't control, but a version that can carry it and still feed ourselves, still find warmth and light for others. As Viktor Frankl so famously wrote, and this is one of my all-time favorite quotes, "What is to give light must endure burning." And I am no specialist healer, have no training, no medical background, no degrees in this arena. I suppose I am a witch, a sorceress, to the degree that one only need claim their own power to unleash it. Beyond that, I'm a writer. and I have a heritage of belief, of skeptical mysticism, of curious circumstance, if not a coven and a spellbook. Perhaps together, in 2022, we write that spellbook, see what great good rises from our whispers to materialize in front of us. So let us cast a little magic for the new year. It is a spell I have called Pollyanna, a Queen of Wands, but it can be called whatever you like. We do this just so. Step 1. In your own space, quietly, perhaps after listening to a playlist of ASMR that soothes you, light a candle, ideally a white one you've held unlit in your hands for a few moments, while thinking of yourself holding this same candle or the waxy remains of it in December, with kindness, self-regard, and a sense of deep gratitude. It might be a tea light or an electric candle, turning its flame safely inside its housing. It might be a pungent Christmas candle filled with flowers that have been pressed into the wax to give us their sweetness post-mortem. It might be any small item of focus, but lay your hand on it. Lay your skin on it. Let it register the lines of heart and head, Mercury and fate and life running across your palms. Let it know your scent, your story. Let it feel you are in earnest. Let it know you have doubts, that anything but cynicism and sarcasm and held back tongues can protect you. Let it know that this time, in this moment, privately, you will be true in every word you tell it. Once you have made a true friend of it, felt its light and optimism and its inability to do anything more cruel than give you a glance of what you hide in the darkness, set it safely near you and gently put its wick aflame. Once all this is done, you must give it a gift of trust. Step 2. Tell it a secret. If it is a small secret, it will be a small magic. An enormous, terrifying one will do enormous and terrifying things in time. We are asking a lot of a candle after all, but we will give the candle strength to resolve, support, renew, corporeate, and deliver something from our secret. We are in an act of creation, which is why it is important to be both private and amongst friends. We do this by pouring gratitude into the light. Gratitude for the bones that bear us up, or the chairs that do, or the floor that does. Gratitude for unbearably obvious and simple things. Air, coffee, smiles, movies that move us, that we're able to connect online even during the pandemic. For the privileges of time that allow us to sit still and think in a warm room. For enough food, for family, or found family, or imaginary family, that settles on our shoulders and says, if you believe, then I will believe with you. Whatever arises is right to arise and should be named. The light hungers to know it, burns and flickers with delight when you tell it the truth of the jumble within your heart with no deception. Step 3. Ask for its assistance on some matter in our lives. This must be a thing, of course, that it is fair and right and good in all worlds to have, but you are simply afraid to see realized. It is essential that we determine that our unfulfilled desires are not from envy or a desire to hurt or take away from others. Otherwise the venture fails before it has begun. Flame is a symbol, of course, as it has ever been, of a wish for things to be brought forward into clarity. Do not tell it when it must be done. Tell it what is so hard about this request that you cannot achieve it on your own. Fed and happy and made to know it is beloved, it will listen. Tell it you will come to it, sit with it, tell it your gratitudes and what you have done on the incarnational side of things to bring your request into being. that you will believe with it a little bit every day until the candle is done. Step 4. Go about your business. The candle will do its work in tandem with your own. It will infuse you with hope, and perhaps you will take 2 steps where you believed only one possible. It will soften the depths of the darkness so you can keep going even when the moon is hidden and the night birds do not sing. It will find its own way to help. Step 5. Thank the light when this magic takes its form, whatsoever the form it takes. Thank yourself for lighting the light. Thank the things you are grateful for providing you with all of this extraordinary mana and energy and power to convert this one thing that is right and fair and good in all worlds for you to have, and made it yours. Step 6. Be at peace. If you are not at peace,